Hi folks, so I lied. One more video in the old shop. We've got to make these 6-inch cones, 1045 cold rolls. Welcome to the last Wednesday widget from the old shop, folks. So Jared has been actually running the CNC Tormach Lathe all week, that's been the last hurdle to get jobs done here in the old shop. And I wanted to get these things faced off and a 1-inch hole through them. So I actually hopped over on the Enco manual, which I had to lap. I don't use it a lot. And it was really fun to get back on it. This is a good example of how we leave the lathe set up. We've got mostly turning tools in the turret, and then here we had a spot, drill, and then fun fact, folks, you can use end mills as boring bars. In this case, we were actually center plunging for a straight walled 375 counter bore just in Delaware. It's very easy to machine. Even if you need it as a boring bar, you can use it as is, or you could even grind off one of the opposite sides. So let's throw in this, for me, big boy boring bar. I know it's not that big, but SCLCR 3/4 inch boring bar, and we're gonna open up these holes to 194, and then after they're opened up, we'll flip it, hold them from the ID, and we'll turn the taper on the outside. So 107, I'll check that again. Offset, reset the tool. It is there, 1.07. Change up in the cam and work holding strategy. So here's the part. What matters is that the board ID is concentric with the cone that we're turning. What I had planned to do, which I think was pretty dumb, was bore the ID and then use that, it's about 2 inches, and hold it from the center out. So clamp on the ID of that bore, and then I would have full access to the outside geometry. The problem is that I then would definitely want to use a 4-jaw, which isn't a problem, to dial in how I'm holding it. And the issue is that I'm also then gonna I think rely on the outside faces being perpendicular because that face is gonna be pushing up against the chuck jaw when you're holding it on an ID. It's basically like this jaw is set up here where you would hold it and pull these clamps out. So that was just dumb. Why would you worry about that? We're gonna make all of the part here. There's no remaining stock surface. So concentricity and all that it matters because I want the boring bar to run nice and I don't want the lathe to wobble, but not critically important. So here's what we're gonna do. We're holding this spaced out. We put some spacers in there and dialed it in, and I've now got plenty of access to the OD. So we will bore this out from about 1 inch to 194. Measure that, it should be holding fine, and then I'll do it in a separate cam op, switch over to an OD turning tool, turn the cone shaped, which is the important part again, in one work holding means they'll be concentric. building one of these window cleaners. Can't wait. That should be the last, oh, this is the last cut, I guess. I wish I could clear this bird's nest out. Oh well. One of the things that we've got to learn a lot more about is, you know, lathe tooling is easy in some respects, and then it gets complicated in others. You know, you've got to be pushing these inserts hard enough to activate the chip breaker. That both has to do with, I believe, service feet per minute, inch per rev, and then also depth of cut. There's a right and a wrong way to do it, and you can avoid that bird's nest, which is really important for good surface finish if you do it right. I have no confidence that I have no doubt that we'll get these parts done and they'll look good, but that doesn't mean we can't do better or even a lot better. And lathe tooling gets complicated too. You know, we figured out some of the basics around insert stuff, but you know, we got bit the other day because we were trying to run a job with some polished inserts, the same insert, you know, IC, tool number, all that, but they were different holder type, and we didn't have a holder for them, which is a real bummer. Ooh. Big bird's nest. Let's take a look at that finish. Okay, we're done. I'll take that, folks. Oh, yes. I will definitely take that. Let me blow some of the coolant out and I'm sure we'll take a closer look. Better with the lights off, actually. Great finish on the facing and pretty damn good finish on the ID there as well, folks. No complaints about that. Measure it up, make sure we're on. And then I gotta run home to have dinner with Junior, and then we'll come turn this in the morning. Good morning, we're back. Code is up to cut the cone. I've got my tool jogged over to the max extent, and clearance is clearance. Shouldn't be a problem with the turret, nor with the gang. We did have to pull the boring bar out. Let's rock and roll. Alright, so we did have some goofs. We stalled the machine out, partly our own fault. We had the wrong spindle setting, but also just trying to push the machine as hard as we could. So that's the beauty of how we did this, is I'm just going to refine this face and set it at 3 thou high. We're going to reface and reskim this coat. Should be left with a good finish. take a look, folks. Yes, I will admit I've got some lessons to learn, including on chip breakers for beginners, because I clearly don't know how to use one. But what I do know is that that part is going to work. That's a great surface finish, smooth. We nailed the bore ID. Let's flip it over and finish her off. Reload it, I'll put it on 10. In theory, this hopefully will be pretty good. This isn't measuring, I don't have a way because I know this face isn't parallel with the face that we've turned, so I can't sweep it in that way. But in theory, this should be close. This will just give us an idea. Okay, so we are at 11th thou there, back down to 6.5, 7 there. So we got about 4 or 5 thou run out. I'm totally fine with that for the job, and remember it's 4 thou over about 5 inches here. That's fine, especially since we're just facing this hot. Let's rock and roll. Hey Judd. Hey Judd. Are we moving shops, bud? Judd, are we going to the new shop? Hey Judd, are you excited? Do you wanna go see the new shop? Someone buy me a copy of Chip Breakers for Beginners, or perhaps Chip Breakers for Idiots. Clearly we're not getting it done here. Another mistake, I didn't bore deep enough. No big deal. I threw the boring bar back in. We're going to just jog out to pretty close to the 1.94, and then super easy. Path Pilot conversational. We will just do a 40 thou chamfer. I actually wanted a chamfer on that edge anyways, and that should blend our little boo-boo right in. Boom, awesome. Well, there you have it, folks. Take a look. 2 6-inch 1045 cold rolled things. Definitely the biggest thing we ever turned on the Tormach lathe. Not gonna lie, it was a little bit big for it, mostly just in terms of having to slow down the recipe to get in within the acceptable range. I'll have to play more with that. Obviously, I think I'm using negative rake tooling, which requires a little bit more power. But most importantly, folks, we hit the tolerances and the finishes are awesome. Just awesome. And for me, I can't afford to scrap parts like this. So being able to hit them and have them look great means a lot. Just awesome. It's a relief to have these done. I'm proud of them. And folks, this really was the last job in this shop. Take a look. We already started moving out, moving next door. We started this in a Manhattan apartment. We moved to another apartment. We moved to the suburbs. We moved to the Ohio farm. We moved to this shop. And next, we're growing from 1,000 square feet to 10,000 square feet. Big things coming. We hope to see folks at the April 30th open house. Information in the video description. Lots more good things to come, folks. We wouldn't be here without you. We love putting these videos out, so thank you folks for supporting them and watching them. We're about to break 100,000 subscribers, which it feels crazy. So does moving into the new shop. We get a lot of our job shop work through the YouTube channel. So I really thank you guys. You're the reason that we've been able to get it this far, and we look forward to 2016 and take it to the next step, folks. So with that, again, thank you. See you next Wednesday.